Hey ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? It's Kaeyoh here. So for all of you weekend HOTS players who really like Greymane and you're getting ready to step out onto the battlefield and the Nexus, play your favorite melee assassin, well, unfortunately Greymane did get quite a nerf in this last patch. And today I want to share some of my thoughts with an alternative build that you can run, which relies more on the Flask, and just in general give you some of my thoughts about how to make him work post these changes. So first of all, before I get into any of that though, Blizzard made quite a mistake here in really over nerfing this character. And the core build that people have been running has basically just been wrecked with these changes. And the fact is that that build was actually in a pretty good spot now. In Europe, we recently just saw, Greymane did not have a very high win rate. He was hovering around 25-30%. And across all regions, Greymane remains a strong pick, but it's not like he's overpowered and getting first picked every game or something. And that seems like the sweet spot. That's exactly where you want to have a character like Greymane. So to see him now get these massive nerfs to his core build after seeing all those results, that definitely concerns me. Now, I have no problem whatsoever with Blizzard buffing alternative builds. I love the fact that they're trying to make Mark for the Kill on point with Go for the Throat, and I love the fact that they're trying to buff the Flask build to give the character a little bit more of variety in playstyle. But it doesn't need to come with the cost of just completely crapping on the core build that people have been using. Like it or not, that core build does very much play to the style that you would expect from a Worgen warrior who jumps in there in this frenzy and just rips up the enemy team. Pairs really well with characters that can enable him to do so, like Uther with a Divine Shield or Tyrael with a Sanctification. And these are kind of really cool synergies that you would expect to be strong. And personally, I'm just very disappointed to see these kind of changes. Now, I feel like what's going on with Blizzard is they're looking at the results of Greymane like 2 months ago and still kind of pairing these changes with him. If you look at what's been going on recently, these changes just aren't consistent with the reality of the situation. Greymane did not need this much of a nerf to his core build. So, TLDR, I think this was an over nerf to Greymane's core build. I think Blizzard should continue to try and make various styles of play stronger, but he really found his place. He really settled in the meta. And then all of a sudden to just like put him on the chopping block and really wreck his kit, just very disappointing. Because it's so satisfying. I know I'm kind of just going on a crazy tangent here, but it is so satisfying to see a character like Greymane really settle and find his place in the meta to where he's strong, but not overpowered. That's exactly what you want. That's exactly where you want your characters to land. And it just feels like, they almost nerfed Go for the Throat by 100 damage there in the base kit. And Razor Swipe getting hit pretty hard as well. The level 1 and 4 talents that people would take with the core build also getting nerfed. I don't get it. Why not just buff the other talents and bring them up to the same level, which is the sweet spot, exactly where you want a character to be? Woo, okay. Got that out of the way. Let's talk about the build and how we can make it work now with these changes. So, personally, I think Greymane is still going to be strong with the Flask build. And if you're wondering what the Flask build is, you can go the bunch of talents that increase the range, reduce the cooldown, and increase the damage of your Gilnean Cocktail ability. And this is really actually a pretty fun build to run that we started seeing actually gain some popularity in the competitive play. Now, of course, this build is mostly run on the Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen. And if you're wondering why, the reason is that to get value out of the Flask, you need to get the splash damage onto people. And to do that, it really helps to have a target between you and the enemy team. So if you think about Infernal Shrines, for example, when you go to contest the point, you throw the Flask, it hits the Guardian, and then the blowback hits all the players, and that's exactly what you want. Likewise, when you're sieging with objectives, you throw the Flask at the gate, it pops on the gate, and splashes onto all the players behind the gate. Good stuff. So let's talk about how this build works, and then we're going to go over the different talent choices. All right, so we're in try mode here. At level 1, you want to go with Perfect Aim, which is just going to increase the range of Gilnean Cocktail and give you a little bit more mana reduction. Now, it's good to have that because once you get this quest talent, you get big cooldown reduction of 4 seconds. So you're going to be throwing these flasks out quite a lot. So getting that mana refund is really good. At level 4, Draught Overflow increases the explosion length, and that's what does the huge nuke of damage, so you do want this talent. At level 7, that's the questing talent, and you only need 15 stacks to max this out, so not too ridiculous at all. At level 10, I'm still going Go for the Throat. However, Mark for the Kill may be the better option. I just haven't gotten to test it enough, and I don't know for sure. But I encourage you guys to try varying that up with both builds and seeing what works best for you. For now, however, I do kind of expect Go for the Throat will still be the more popular option just because Mark for the Kill is a little bit more inconsistent, and you have to be able to make sure you hit it, and that can be difficult. But hey, if Trick Slayer can make it work, I think we all can, right? So, just kidding, I love you, Trick Slayer. Level 13 on the Prowl, you get a little bit movement speed increase. This is good because you need to be able to kind of dip in and out of a fight to throw those flasks onto targets and then get out safely. At level 16, I go Eager Wolf now with this build because you're a bit more of a consistent sustained damage rather than just like an Executioner style build where you're trying to get in and one-shot somebody instantly. At level 20, I still go the splash damage on human form auto attacks because I think this pairs well nicely with the splash damage you get from Gilnean Cocktail and plays also into the being a more consistent damage roll. So now let's take a look at a situation here where we're going to reset the minion wave. We have our quest finished. We have all our talents. This is like level 20 strength. I just want to show you how much damage these flasks actually do. I'll let Arthas here catch up to the wave. Look at that. Boom. 763 damage on a flask on a 6-second cooldown, guys. That is a ton of damage. If you're throwing these at gates and splashing back into players who are trying to defend a boss or something, that's awesome. So I think it is very powerful as a build. Not to mention, you don't forget about your auto attacks that you're throwing out constantly and being able to use Go for the Throat. So you do have a lot of power with this build, a lot more sustained damage for your team. And yeah, so let me know how you guys like this build and what variations you try. I'm really curious because I still haven't gotten to test, everything that I want to test. I want to get this video out and make my points. And of course, I'm not really sure 100% if Mark for the Kill is better. It does do a lot of damage now, so let me know what's been working for you guys. And yeah, good luck in your games, guys. I will see you in the next time. Hopefully in the next video, Greymane will be back to his former glory. Who knows? But until then, see you guys next time. Take care.